Update 4 is out now for Payday 3, known officially as Update 1.1.1, and it's out a bit earlier than normal, which is why I waited until it came out so I could make a video, because I thought I may as well wait for the public patch notes. And in doing so, it also offers me the chance to get initial reactions from my audience, which I kind of miss doing before making these videos, because it does back up the very similar sentiment that I have with this update, which is that it really just isn't a good start for Operation Medic Bag. They have added a couple of tweaks and changes in. Some things are really good, do not get me wrong. There is a fix in particular later on that has added an ability in No Rest for the Wicked to delay die packs with an ECM jammer. That's great for solo players. I can finally loot every single bag without any getting died. Good stuff. But there's so little of that in here that if you want to kick off Operation Medic Bag with a bang, unfortunately, Starbreeze have failed in that regard. Regardless, I want to go through this video very quickly, just going over the most important parts of this update and sharing my thoughts. I won't be streaming the update today. I'll be honest with you, it's not enough to make me carry on playing the game. I'm still in my little rut of not really playing it, but it does set the stage very nicely for a video I'm going to be putting out on Saturday. I won't say any more than that, but please do check it out when that comes out. But regardless, let's get into this, shall we? Let's have a look at all the new update changes and fixes in Update 4 for Payday 3. We have some PC improvements to kick off. DirectX 12 is now available on PC. You can use DX11 still if you wish, but DX12 has been reported to give you better performance, especially on low-end PCs, so worth checking it out, as well as NVIDIA Image Scaling Upscaler, DLLA 3.5, and Super Resolution 3.5 as well. So just taking advantage of, as they've said, some more advanced features. After that, the Hardcore Cook-Off Challenge reward is here, and instead of getting an achievement or a cool weapon skin or a mask or something, you get a single meth grain thing as a weapon charm. I don't think, hard enough on it last video. It really is an underwhelming prize for completing a very challenging feat in Payday 3. Probably one of the most challenging things you can do in the game. I would have really appreciated something a bit more solid, like a mask or something like that. I don't know. There's also some various UI improvements. They made several fixes to the UI, such as adding sliders, as well as adding the much requested lobby unready function, and on top of that, some controller dead zone settings. So you can see here an example of what the controller dead zone settings look like. So you can change the dead zone, acceleration multiplier, acceleration time, something that was heavily requested. So very glad to see that be added as well. While I'm on the topic as well, the lobby unready function, I mean, it took 5 months too long. It should have been in the beta, let alone not in the full game. But I think it's important to note that the lobby unready function only works when some people in the party have not yet readied up. If everyone readies up and everyone is ready at the same time, basically, you can't then unready. There'll be a countdown that puts you into the heist. That also means if you're playing solo, as soon as you ready up, you can't unready. The only way you can unready is if someone else in your lobby is not yet ready as well. That's the exact same as Payday 2. As soon as you readied up in Payday 2, you went straight in, and in Payday 2 multiplayer, as soon as everyone was readied up, you'd start the heist, unless someone wasn't in the lobby properly, and then you had to kick someone to figure out who it was, but you get the point. So it basically works the exact same way it did in Payday 2, which is something this game needs more comments relating, that it works the same as Payday 2, so fair enough on that front. Anyway, on top of that, there is also rotating security modifiers now, starting with this patch. There'll be rotating security modifiers on all heists for very hard and overkill difficulty to freshen up the experience, and they'll be updating the modifier distribution every 2 weeks. In the future, you can expect more stealth modifiers and loud modifiers in the rotation. I'll admit, every 2 weeks seems like a strange choice. I would have thought weekly would have been a smarter idea, personally. Maybe it's because they haven't got enough modifiers right now that changing it so often wouldn't really make much of a difference, but I think weekly would be a better idea. Weekly just feels like a more regular thing, especially for a live service game. I think that would be a very beneficial choice to make. But apart from that, as for game state consistency, the game will now remember if you've chosen to show or hide the story videos and the heist selection, even after restarting the game, and the lobby type and difficulty will now automatically be set to the same as the previous game. So when you go to matchmake, it'll give you the same type of lobby and also same difficulty that you just played in. So small little tweaks, and again, without sounding cynical, things that should have been in the game from launch, but better late than never. What can I say realistically? There are some known issues though, and the first one is really unfortunate. Skill point assignment has been reset on loadouts, but you retain your earned skill points, so remember to recreate your builds after updating the game. Now for me personally, that's awful, because I may have mentioned this already, but I've barely played Payday 2 in the last 2 months. I don't remember what my builds look like, so I'm basically gonna have to play Sherlock Holmes detective to try and figure out where my points were, because I haven't got a clue. So that's gonna be intriguing. I really wish that could have been avoided, but goodness knows, it would have been nice for them to explain what happened there and why that's the case, because that's very bizarre. But either way, also on PC, the introduction of DX12 support has helped them identify an issue that is present in the previous version of the game. That means there's a rare edge case issue where using GeForce Experience or Shadowplay's instant replay feature can cause a system lock if you alt-tab during game startup or while switching between full screen and window modes. So turn off instant replay to fix that for the time being. I would have loved this much detail on this. Why was this reset? Oh, that's annoying. Whatever. Anyway, so there is a whole list of general fixes here. I am not going to go go through every single one. I haven't got the patience for one thing. There's 300 plus fixes and I'm not reading 300 plus bullet points. But what I'm instead going to do is pick out things that basically don't start with fixed, because that makes more sense to do because everything else is fixing bugs. This was a bug I noticed quite a lot in Payday 3 and glad to see that's been fixed. If someone fails to join a lobby or they get a boss in the middle of matchmaking, you end up in a lobby with a player space, I'd found quite often someone wasn't able to fill it. That's now been fixed. So if someone does fail to join the lobby, that slot will properly free up on the game's back end for someone else to join, which is good. Very big fan of that. They've also tweaked so that keypad highlights, are now easier to see. Fair enough. And on top of that, improved cloaker sneaking to be more reliable. What does that mean? Not entirely sure. They've also tweaked so that drones may now be highlighted by sensor tools, added an outline to traded and rescued NPC hostages, added settings option for hold to slide, and added player death animations I thought was quite interesting, so maybe no more body flopping, which actually is a shame really, because I quite enjoyed the body flopping. I thought that was fine. That wasn't something I figured that needed fixing. And at the bottom, yes, this is one thing I was wondering about because people had spotted this in the game files during the downtime. The sneaky heister may notice 2 new masks in the game files. These will be unlockable in a future community event. You may see them in our official streams before they are made publicly available. Okay, right. So if you haven't seen the picture, I'll just get it very quickly. Credits to the user in my Discord who goes by the name of Where Ribbons Fly, because they put this in the Discord in the Payday channel to let us know. There is a new Almir mask for Payday 3, as well as Elizabeth, the community manager, has got her own mask as well. So both of these masks are currently in the game files, but not accessible. And as the patch notes say, they will be accessible later via a community event. So just worthwhile keeping that in mind. But it sounds like maybe in the streaming with Almir and Elizabeth each week, they'll wear their own unique masks in the stream. So that's cool. I'm glad there'll be a way to get them though, because people who had the Almir mask in Payday 2, which was meant to be a promotional event and ended up just being pretty much everyone on PC getting it as long as you had a code. I mean, I've still got like 500 of them buried on my PC. If anyone still wants one for whatever reason, let me know in the comments and I'll slip a code in the comments section. But point is, people were used to having the Almir mask, so I'm glad that people will be able to get it later on as well. But that's all the general changes. Now, I do also know that yes, there have been some unique weapon changes. It's worth pointing these out. So the R900 sniper can now penetrate shields when paired with a cutting shot skill. Armor pen has been increased as well as damage increased, so you can see an overall buff for the R900. The Mosconi 12 has also had reduced hip fire and pellet spread, and there's new expect animations for the overkill weapons, the HET5 sniper and the Markham Mamba MGL launcher, although I have seen reports that that inspect animation is not currently functioning correctly. If you fire some rounds out of it and then inspect it, when you inspect it you get a very glitchy weapon where basically the chamber just kind of pops out of the gun, which if you're going to add so few things, I would hope that everything would be perfect. I mean, whatever, either way, it would have been good. Regardless, there is also some new equipment changes, so medic bags now restore 1 down by default, good, increasing the healing from first aid kits, and also the base amount of health gained from medic bags. Also lowered the armor repair kit time interaction, and tweaks the regen for standard lining armor from 3 seconds down from 4. So, some interesting changes there. There's some skill changes. I'll be honest with you, I'm not reading through all these. I can't remember what half of them mean. As I said, I've not played for 2 months. I'm sorry, that doesn't make me a very good reporter of the news here, but I'm just going to put it on the screen so you can read it through. So there's the first half. There's a bit more for you to pause and read through, and a little bit more there, and the patch notes to be in the description. I'm not going to read through those. Sorry if that seems a bit in your face, but I'm not going to be able to report on them without remembering what they all are. Hopefully, when the next update comes out and I start playing the game again, I'll get back in the zone of things, but for right now, all I'm doing is talking about what's new for the game. I'm not playing it myself, which sucks, and hopefully that will change very, very soon. Enemies things have been changed. There's not a lot of changes here that are worthwhile covering in actual discussion, but the thing that's most important is the top point. On overkill difficulty, enemy intensity will now update mid-wave instead of between assault waves, and Mio, the game director, commented, "This is how we had waves update originally in the game, but it was changed during development for several reasons. We brought it back for overkill difficulty only to address the issue of players manipulating escalation triggers to bypass more difficult enemies." So basically, it'll be a little bit less predictable as to when enemies will show up and how you respond to them, which I think is a very, very good thing. There's also some nerfs down here you can see as well for the drones and things with the techie. Some fixes that really should have come out not long after Syntax Error, but because there was, what, 3 months nearly since 3 months since Syntax Error? Blimey, nearly 3 months, but it's been that long. There's not been fixes addressed, so some of the things with techie and the drones have also been addressed. So, there you go. There are also some fixes with regards to UI, audio, and visuals, and I'm not really going to look at too much other than voice lines being able to play during assault waves now. Very big thing, and I'm glad they've added that in because the heisters don't talk enough, and that is a good way to fix it. Visual fixes, there's not much to look at there that I don't think is necessary. There are also changes for every single heist in the game. Syntax Error's got a whole heap of fixes, and I'm not going to go through all those, but I think it's important to point out just a couple of the key things for any heist where it's relevant. For one thing, they've added more hiding spots for the techie, which is good because she was incredibly predictable in some of the spots she would appear in Syntax Error. Also tweak some spawn zones towards the end of the heist. Hopefully that'll make it a bit easier because I do think it's a bit too intense of a firefight in that closing section of Syntax Error. And beyond that, whole load of fixes and updates for visual issues and sound issues. For Touch the Sky, it looks like it's an entire range of fixes, yeah. Also, tweaked vents in Touch the Sky to not teleport out players anymore when going loud, but instead spawn toxic gas inside of them. That's a fix they've done also in Under the Surface, you'll see in a minute. It seems like the gas vents that happened in syntax errors being applied retroactively to previous heists, which is fine. I appreciate that. When it goes loud, you can't use events. Makes sense. They are a very stealth-based thing, so I can understand them wanting to do that. Fixing issues on a lot of these heists, same with all the other ones here. Turbid Station, fixing issues and collisions. There's not much to see. Tweaks the red light drones emit on Turbid Station to make them more visible, though. That's good. That's an actual fix. And No Rest for the Wicked, as I mentioned earlier, the notable fix here is tweaking so that the die packs for the money in No Rest for the Wicked can now be paused using ECM jammers. So I'm guessing that means they're not active for the duration of the jammer. Not really specific enough here to clarify that, but as I've said, it finally addresses an issue I've had with the game since the beta, since it came out even, that when you are looting all the cash bags when you were playing solo, you couldn't stop some of the die packs from going off. I'd heard some people say they could get 7 or 8 bags diffused. Clearly, you're just on, I don't know, 500,000 milliliters of gamer subs and just have your brain hardwired faster than a Google AI, because I couldn't blooming do that. 6 was lucky for me. But the point is, now if you're not hardwired into the mainframe, like 0.2% of players were saying they were in my comment section, put an ECM jammer down, you can defuse the die packs much easier. Very much appreciated. Beyond that, Golden Shark, as I've said, a lot of fixes here. In particular, the security room door not being locked, that's been addressed. It took about 3 months, but we got there. Under the Surface, as I've said, they've added gas to the vents for loud. Makes some sense. 99 boxes, though, there is only one issue that's been fixed, where Crew might get stuck. So in other words, Ice-T's heist was the best functioning one before this update. So it says. And they've also done some tutorial heist fixes. But that's it. I've been recording for not even 15 minutes, and that sums up everything in the update, and I'm probably going to trim this down. It's going to be a shorter video because there's not much to say. As I've said, as the start of updates go for Operation Medic Bag and fixing things and making things better, this has not achieved a very strong kickoff. Player numbers are still drastically low for Payday 3. I will be interested to monitor this and see how the player numbers transpire over the next week or so after this update's come out. But unfortunately now, Mio, Almir, and pretty much everyone at Starbreeze, whenever they've been asked, has said it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks for the next update, which means it's more than likely the next update will drop in April, which means this is all we've got for the entirety of March, most likely. That's rough. It's really, really rough, and it's not the strong start the game needed with Operation Medic Bag to get things back. If you're going to be delaying content and basically trying to dedicate time to fix the game, you've got to have a bigger start than this. Unfortunately, it wasn't that, but I will say it's not all bad news. I've mentioned this before, but Starbreeze partners have been working with Starbreeze, testing earlier game features, or things that have not yet released, I should say, so more early access things, and trying to offer feedback. Things like the new armor system, Overheal, which allows you to get extra health on top of your base amount that will decay over time. Some things that will hopefully make the meta of Payday 3 much more enjoyable and generally bring a bit more interest back into the game. These things are ETA or known, some of them may be in April, some of them may be later, but there is good stuff coming in the pipeline. I feel it is my duty to make you aware that that is going to be happening, but as far as what we got here and now today, it's not enough, but hopefully the next update will address it. But either way, I will leave this video here. Thank you all very much for watching. I will not be playing Payday 3 on stream tonight. As I've said, this isn't enough to get me to play it, but I will be playing Alan Wake for the very first time, which I know has been a very popular franchise recently with Alan Wake 2. So if you want to ask me about this update while I'm playing it, feel free to hop over on my Twitch and watch tonight at 7 PM UK time. That's GMT. By the time this video goes up, probably about 3 hours time from now. So feel free to check that out at twitch.tv/redarchlive. And if you've enjoyed the video and want to check out more future Payday content on this channel, then click the sub button. It's quick, it's free, and I will always love you for doing so. But apart from that, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all very soon with another video. In fact, it'll be on Saturday, as I mentioned earlier. So look forward to that. I hope you all enjoy what I'm going to be putting out there. I'm being cryptic, but you'll see. Thank you all for watching. See you all soon. Much love.